Hello guys, it's Jonathan here doing another Beyblade discussion. This time, we're talking about some Beyblade news. CX is here, so that's pretty crazy. Now I have to say, first up, I'm not actually going to talk much about the CX system itself in this video. I will obviously talk about like some basic stuff and go over just like an overview of the system basically. As we talk about the bays, the first bay, I'll kind of also go over the system a little bit, but on probably like the 18th or 20th, I will have up a video dedicated fully to the CX system and why I actually believe it's a bit of a misstep. So stay tuned for that, I guess. But for now, let's go over the actual news and talk about all of the new stuff. So first up, we have a starter, DranBrave Slash 660 Vortex. So first up, gotta comment on the box. So they tend to use like an accent color depending on the system. Of course, BX had light blue, UX had orange, which I liked a lot, and then for CX we have kind of this magenta, which I actually like a lot as well. So good color scheme choice there. So anyway, getting into the actual product, we have a launcher. It looks like the launchers might actually kind of just be basic. I know for UX we had like special launcher, like the color scheme would be specific to the bay to some extent, and I think they're getting rid of that unfortunately. So whatever, I guess. It was just like a nice little feature, but something to note. Moving on to the actual bay, I will go bottom to top for these because, well, the blade's the most interesting part. But first up, the bit is Vortex. So Vortex, basically just the right spin version of Cyclone from Cobalt Dragoon. We also have the ratchet, 660. Finally, 6-sided ratchets. Now we just need 8, and we'll have everything, and we can move on to like 10 and stuff. So anyway. The 660, finally here, looks pretty nice. I like the color scheme of this thing actually, so pretty good. Moving on to the blade, well, the parts of the blade. First up here we have the lock chip, which is drawn. So yeah, basically, gear chips are removable now and called lock chips, which I mean, it's an alright name I guess, just nothing too crazy, but it works. Cool design I guess, but yeah. Sure. Beyond that, we have the Brave main blade. So, yeah, that's how they're doing the naming scheme now. So, Brave is kind of similar to Drawn Sword in terms of shape. It's three-sided. A lot of plastic on these CX bays, but yeah. Also, I gotta say, I don't like the name Main Blade. It just seems a little lame to me, but yeah. Overall, it just reminds me a lot of Drawn Sword, and that's really all to say about it. But then we get to the other new part here, which is the Assist Blade. I'm actually the most okay with this name of any new blade part, but anyway. The Assist Blade here is called Slash, and yeah, it's kind of like a little sub-blade to the main blade. It's just plastic. I don't think this is going to impact battle all that much, honestly. I don't really think it's all that important, but it exists, so sure, I guess. This feels very similar to like frames from Beyblade Burst, where yeah, you could argue like weight or weight distribution in like a very slight manner it might do something, but yeah, I don't see these being overly impactful. To me, main blades are just the new blades, and then lock chips and assist blades are kind of just like aesthetic things, if we're being honest. So not really what I was hoping for here, but yeah, it is what it is. The bay looks pretty cool, I guess. It feels very plasticky. Normally I like plastic, but I mean, these things are meant to be metal, so I don't really know what to make of that, but it's new, so I guess it's cool, right? Sure. Anyway, new Drawn, except for Drawn Sword. Definitely some inspiration from Drawn Dagger as well, in terms of its color scheme, but yeah. That's that. Moving on to our other starter here, we have WizardArc Round 455 Low Orb. So first up, again, we have a launcher, like same thing. Moving on. First up here, Low Orb, that exists. So yeah, it's orb. I already had this before, and it's a millimeter shorter. Cool. Ratchet, 455, new height. The new lowest height. This is also a single piece ratchet, like 385, so it's interesting. Also, the actual four sides are modeled differently, so yeah, 455, pretty interesting. Also very weird that we're getting 55 on a stamina type of all things. So yeah, a short stamina type, I guess. Why not? But yeah. 455 will definitely be an interesting part. I'm sure that'll get used a lot. Even if the burst resistance or whatever isn't as good, I mean, it's the new shortest type. Of course, people are going to want to use it. So anyway, moving on to the lock chip, we have Wizard, which it's Wizard. It looks cool. Sure. The main blade is Arc. So Arc has a pretty interesting shape, kind of Wizard Arrow-like, but also not. Doesn't really have the notches like Wizard Arrow, but the shape kind of reminds me of it. It just seems round. I've seen a lot of Virgo, actually, from MFB, like the pre-hybridal version, so... Again, don't have much to say, it's just kind of a fairly round-looking blade. I don't know what to make of this one. Again, a lot of plastic, though. We also have the assist blade round, and it is definitely, as the name would suggest, it is round. Again, probably more of an aesthetic thing, but there it is, I guess, so... WizardArc looks pretty cool. I will say, I don't know how to feel about the color scheme. It's not yellow, it's more of like a weird mix of yellow and green. I mean, some parts are literally a mix, kind of a lime green or, you know, yellow-green, but other parts are yellow, other parts are kind of green. It's weird looking. I don't know how to feel about the color scheme of this one, but yeah, the bay itself, it kind of is what I would expected from like a CX Wizard. Kind of. I guess it's at least not like Wizard Rod 2, right? That'd be maybe problematic, but yeah, definitely takes inspiration more from Wizard Arrow, I feel, at least to some degree, so there's that. Also, it being short is interesting, I guess. That's kind of cool, but yeah, WizardArc. And for our last important new release, we have a booster. PerseusDark Barrier 680 Wedge. So, Wedge, this looks kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a really skinny needle. The actual point, though, seems kind of shallow. It's just skinny. I don't know how this will perform. Now, the actual gears on this thing, it looks like it's 10 like Rush, except they look modeled to be kind of weird. I don't know how this is going to work on the Extreme line. It almost looks like it might not work properly on the Extreme line at all, which is intentional, of course, but still. Definitely an interesting looking part. We also have 680, so 6 is getting a second, you know, height variant, I guess. So, yeah, 680, sure, why not? We have the Perseus lock chip, which is clearly a reference to Gravity Perseus, which is pretty cool, I would say. I mean, Gravity Perseus, one of my favorite bays from Metal Fight. Definitely a great bay for sure, so cool to see kind of a reference to that here. We then have the Dark Main Blade, continuing to be kind of a reference to Gravity Perseus. The shape is very similar to it. I will say, though, this is not LR, it is just right spin, which, kind of unfortunate, but also maybe not really. I'm fine with this thing just being right spin, honestly, but yeah. Looks cool. Yeah, definitely. I like the shape of this thing. I don't know how good it'll be, but who cares? It's a defense type. Looks cool. References a really good Metal Fight base, so I like it. Then we also have the Barrier Assist Blade, which, yeah, just kind of looks like a defensive shape to me. It exists. Might have good weight or something for what it is. I don't know how much these assist blades will vary in weight, honestly, but maybe something. But yeah, overall space clearly a reference to Gravity Perseus, which is pretty cool. Definitely like it. Definitely my favorite of the three. Other two I'm a little unsure of, but this one, I mean, it's cool. Probably say Zodiac Bay as well, so interesting team we have here. So Pegasus and Perseus. Maybe Carbix will be next. I don't actually know what they'll do for a third member of Zodiac, but anyway. So yeah, PerseusDark, very cool. Probably the one bay here that I actually do like quite a bit. The other ones, this one, cool. Not sold in the system, I just think the bay looks cool, but yeah. That's all for like the main new bays, but we still have a lot to talk about here, so let's go and get into some of the other stuff. Moving on to the Battle Entry Set C, so this is another entry set like the UX one we got last year, and, you know, the kind of set we got in BX. Anyway, so we get some recolors and stuff. We have recolors of DranBrave and PerseusDark in their stock form, some launchers, a stadium, you know, just kind of what you'd expect from one of these sets. The recolors look pretty decent. Almost reminds me of the Bottleman Godcap entry set a little bit. But yeah, in terms of the color schemes for the base here. But White Perseus is pretty decent. I do actually like the red and orange DranBrave quite a bit. That color scheme is pretty nice for it. But yeah, overall, it exists. It's there if you want. I probably won't be picking this up personally, but it's there if you're looking to get into Beyblade. Stadium looks pretty cool. I mean, it's clear, has like a magenta extreme line. That's cool. So decent pickup if you don't care about like, you know, original colors. You just want to like maybe get a new stadium and some of the new bays, or if you're into Beyblade, this is probably the best way to get this. Well, best way to get into it as of now. Other than that, though, it just kind of exists, honestly. We also have a couple of launcher grips. We have this one here that's blue with some white rubber. I guess just clear rubber. I mean, it's a launcher grip. We also have one here that's black with red rubber. So again, another option. These just kind of exist, and I don't really have any thoughts on them. We also have a left ripcord launcher. So a left ripcord launcher. Yeah, very cool to see this released. Pretty cool color scheme. Kind of like a black magenta thing going on, I feel. Nice color scheme. Again, probably getting a lot of this extra stuff, but just worth noting. Nice to get a left launcher in a single release as well. We also have this like white case here. Yeah, I really don't care about this, but again, it exists, so I should probably make note of it. So moving on, we have some special releases that I'll get into. So let's go and look at these. So first up here, we have a PhoenixFeather recolor. Actually, it has a really cool recolor, kind of like a red-orange paint. The color scheme of this thing looks really nice, actually. I don't know how they'll be releasing this, but if it's easy to get, I'm gonna pick this up, actually, because the color scheme is just that nice. If it's harder to get, I'll pass up on it, but I do kind of want this blade, well, this recolor of this blade, because that is a very nice looking color scheme, I must say. We also have a lottery version of SamuraiSaber in, its stock form. Very weird looking. It has like orange paint with like this mint green plastic. I imagine a lot of people aren't gonna like this bay, but I actually like this bay quite a bit. I think that the color scheme here is insane. It's just weird, but it's a bold choice. I can respect that. I kind of like this thing. I don't know if this will be limited to 100 permanently, or if they'll do what they do with, like, the Red Run Buster, where eventually it becomes accessible from another method that's a little bit easier to deal with. But yeah, hopefully that's the case, because this thing actually looks pretty nice. I like this thing a lot. Again, just such a striking color scheme that I can't help but to respect it. So there's that. And for our last limited edition thing here, we have a gold version of PerseusDark. Yeah, this is taking the place of the gold Wizard Rod. These are for like the G4 tournaments and stuff. So the first one was Night Shield, then we have Wizard Rod, now we're getting PerseusDark. So pretty cool. I like it. I'm not huge on gold, but I think this one, it works pretty decently. There's a little bit of the Gravity Perseus stamina from the Metal Fight explosion set they won. It was the Perseus reshuffle set, that's what I'm thinking of. The stamina version of Gravity Perseus. I guess you need like an indigo part to make that properly, but still. I don't know, just the gold medal reminded me of that. But anyway. Looks cool though. Probably won't get it unless I find it for like a decent deal in like a year or something, but still worth noting. And finally, we have something that I actually cannot show. That is actually for HellsReaper. So HellsReaper will be releasing next month as the Prize of Random Booster Volume 6, which is funny because, yeah, Hells got demoted to a Random Booster prize. That's rough, but, yeah, very weird. We got a pretty good look at it in a teaser, but again, I can't show Korokoro stuff because they don't like when you show Korokoro stuff on YouTube videos, so I don't want to find out. But anyway, so the combo here is HellsReaper T470K. We don't know the assist blade name or the bit name. K almost looked like square-like to me, which I don't know if it's the case, but it just looked really strange. 470, we've seen that before. T as an assist blade, don't know much about that. The HellsReaper lock chip looks pretty nice though, and then, yeah, so Hells looks good as that, and then Reaper, the main blade. I'm still getting used to some of this naming scheme stuff, so hopefully I didn't get anything horribly wrong, but anyway. Yeah, Reaper as a main blade looks very similar to Hell Scythe, so clearly these newer bays or CX are taking inspiration from their original BX forms rather than UX themes. Also, like with Drawn Sword, it does seem to be taking some color scheme inspiration from Hell's Chain, which is pretty cool. So almost like taking the BX, both BX versions and like kind of fusing them in some aspects. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, can't really show anything. It looks alright, I would say. So yeah, again, I want to see more of those things, but we'll talk about that next month. But for now, just kind of a brief discussion on that, because again, I can't really show anything, and we don't really know everything about these parts either, so it's hard to really gauge exactly what I want to say on this bay. It just, yeah, it clearly takes an inspiration from some previous bays that were in the Hells line, and I think it looks alright, but yeah. So anyways, that's everything for this month. I did go pretty quickly through this stuff. There's a lot to talk about. I didn't want to be here for like 50 minutes, so hopefully it made enough sense. But yeah, I don't really have a ton of thoughts because, I mean, CX is new. Gotta get them in hand before I make, you know, proper assessments on them, and then everything else is just kind of a recolor, so yeah, you know, pretty brief thoughts on those, but yeah. And again, CX itself, I did kind of stray away from talking about that too much, because again, I do want to make a proper full video talking about CX and my overall thoughts on it, because I think it's a very interesting discussion topic, and there's a good chance that video ends up being longer than this video does, which is interesting, so yeah. Stay tuned for that. That will be in like 2 to 4 days. So anyways, that's all I gotta say for this video. So, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.